So, you have had a really interesting career. You're not your typical automotive, engineer or, a lot of automotive marketing jobs before you got this very big marketing job in automotive, very design focused. So, how did you end up as the VP of marketing?
Yeah, and basically the least traditional way possible, I think. So my background has always been in architecture and interior design. That's what I went to school for. That's what the first half of my career has been. And I've worked at Rivian now for over 6 years, which means I've worked there before we had cars on the road. And so over the course of those 6 years, I've really helped shape the brand, how people experience it. I went from setting up our factory and building our customer journey and tours and experiences through that, the delivery experience, to service centers, to our retail strategy and how we're going to roll out across all of the 50 states and our point of view and strategy there. And then I moved into digital design, so web, apps, our app, the UI and UX of all of that. And then into marketing from there. So, but I think it gives me a really unique perspective, and I think given our very non-traditional approach, it makes sense.
Yeah. You have a really interesting quote on your LinkedIn profile that I'm hoping you can explain a little bit. Iconic brands are worlds people choose to live in, not just names they recognize. So what do you mean by that?
I think when you consider a brand, people obviously think about, for Nike, it's a swoosh. But I think actually what Nike has in its past consistently done really well is build a world, right? Your brand is every single touch point and every experience that you ever have with that brand. For us, that means it is how you look for us online and then experience our website. It is going into our stores. It is seeing our out of home, but it is also, once you become an owner, using our app, using our service center network, every customer interaction. So it becomes the sum of all of those parts, and being intentional and thoughtful about how you build the entirety of that world is really what builds a brand that people love.
Cool, and I just realized I forgot to grab the clicker.
Oh, you do have stuff. You have a...
I've got
cool.
Show and tell.
I love it.
So for people who aren't familiar with your beautiful vehicles, they've probably seen the headlights. I always know a Rivian
Very
because of those
iconic.
headlights. It's like they're coming down the road and you're like, Rivian. Let's talk about who your current customers are and who your target customers are and demographics, psychographics, all that good stuff.
Sure, yeah. So these are our R1 products. It is an SUV and a truck. And we've leaned very heavily into this concept of adventure. For us, we want to showcase what the vehicle enables you to do, not just sort of be like, oh, it's 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. It
2
is.
seconds.
Yeah,
2
it
seconds,
is.
actually.
It's like very fast. It's the best sports car you've ever had, but also the best off-roading vehicle you could possibly buy. That's amazing, but we want to keep people at the center of it, and what the adventures and this kind of say yes to anything that's actually what we're selling. And so our customers for this product, this is not an inexpensive product, it's our Halo vehicle. So we're looking at what we call kind of like boundary breakers. So you're very traditional, outdoorsy, kind of like, I'm going to go rock climbing on the weekend. Maybe I live in the city, or I want to be able to go off-roading. But we also span the gamut all the way through into, the SUV is an incredible family car. It's 3 rows, so how can we also speak to moms and creatives, given the design and the intentionality of all the design in our vehicles? So those are sort of our 3 kind of main audiences.
Very cool. Well, I've been into some of your stores. You don't call them dealerships, right?
Do not. We are direct to consumer, yeah.
Direct to consumer. They're more like pop-up spaces. They feel like pop-ups kind of, but are they permanent? Or are you moving around with those?
We have a few different categories. So we have pop-up spaces, which are more temporary, 12 to 18 months. That is what you've probably seen in Chicago and a few others. We also have more traditional spaces like you would see in a mall, for instance. And we also have what we call flagships and charging outposts. So flagships are, really unique properties. I think one of the things we've done that's different than a lot of people is really lean into the locale and the local community of where each of these spaces are. So we have everything from, we bought a historic movie theater in Laguna Beach, and that movie theater showcases all kinds of amazing films and has programming, and kids can come in and they color. We know that car buying is one, it's an incredibly high consideration product, right? But also it's a communal activity, it's a collective experience. Very few people come in by themselves, test drive it, and then like, surprise, I came home with a new car, like doesn't go over super well, typically.
If somebody brought me home a Rivian, I don't think I would complain about that, but whatever.
But we know that like you want to bring your family, you want to bring your kids in, they want to like climb through the gear tunnel and see how the seats like hold up to their, dirty sandy shoes and all of those things. So we wanted to build spaces that allow you to do that. And our flagships are a much longer piece. We literally purchased that movie theater. Like we plan to be a part of those forever. And then our charging outposts are actually open to everyone, not just Rivian owners, because our Rivian Adventure network is our charging network, and it's open to all EVs. And those are almost like a billboard for our brand in a lot of ways, in that they are located right outside of like incredible destinations. So we have one in the Hamptons, Yosemite, Joshua Tree, and they just become like a very beautiful physical manifestation of our brand that anyone can experience.
And it kind of tells the story that you can go to these remote locations in an electric vehicle because, look, here's a Rivian charger, right?
And it's an incredibly pleasant experience, right? There's playgrounds for your kids. There's healthy snacks. There's restrooms. There's a lounge spot. Like you can actually enjoy them. There's some hiking trails off of a couple of them. It's just like a really lovely experience.
So last year, Rivian launched a demand generation plan that included the launch of leasing options, new marketing campaigns, and encouraging more demo drives. What are you doing with test drives right now? What kind of events are you at, and how has it been going? And do you have any new metrics you can share?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think for us it was very interesting in that we had a very large backlog of pre-orders for a very long time. And so we were used to fish jumping in the boat, right? And then we had to learn how to fish this last year. Without compromising the premium and aspirational nature of our brand, and obviously a very interesting political climate as well when it comes to EVs. So how do you navigate all of those things, but still remain this incredibly inviting and positive presence? So for us, that took the form of using our owner stories. So we have just such an incredible owner community, and we gathered a bunch of stories from them, and then we turned those into CTV spots that celebrate our owners, but also the product itself. And then we have created a pretty large digital out-of-home campaign as well, very localized creative to drive people into our stores. We've done a lot of large-scale experiential. We're the headline sponsor of South by Southwest, both last year and this year. Yeah.
That's why you're in Austin, right?
That's why I'm in Austin today, actually.
South by Southwest. So this is something new and different. It looks like it's big brother, big sister, but aren't they both big brothers? I don't know, whatever.
Little kid
this
sister.
This is the R2.
Yeah.
So this is coming next year.
It is.
And it's going to have a much lower price point, correct?
It is. So this is a much smaller size vehicle. Hard to tell in this photo, but it's about an inch shorter than a Model Y. And it has more storage than the Next 5. And it will start at $45,000. So for us, this represents a huge step change in the brand and in how many people we can speak to, and how many people we can, how many adventures we can enable for folks. So we're super, super excited about this product. It does come to market next year. And for us, it also means that we have to create such a huge ramp in brand awareness, both aided and unaided. We're going to go from a very niche product to wanting to sell multiple hundreds of thousands of these every single year. And so for us, 26 to 27 really does represent that massive step change for the brand.
I was just at Rivian's Plymouth, Michigan facility and hadn't been there in like 7 years since before you guys started selling vehicles. And RJ, your founder and CEO, said 400,000 is your capacity down in Atlanta.
That's right.
So that's a lot of cars.
That's and Normal
quite-
has another, whatever,
Yeah, and then
couple
Normal,
100,000.
Normal, Illinois. So, and RJ called this insanely good, and he would put it up against any gas vehicle of its same size.
It's a very, very, it's an incredible product. I've got the chance to drive it. Yeah.
So jealous. I poked
It's
around
incredible.
inside.
The back seat, the amount of space in the back seat is phenomenal. I think one of our owner kind of influencers said that we had designed the R1T around the gear tunnel, but we designed the R2 around the back seat, which I think was a lovely analogy in that like it is prioritized and it is so spacious and so comfortable when you're inside.
So it racked up 68,000 reservations the day after its reveal.
Yeah, the first day.
How have you generated that much excitement for a car that at that point nobody had even seen it?
Yeah, and that was like a year ago at this point, so you weren't going to be able to get it for like 2 years. So we were very, very thrilled with the results. And I think that what we've done is we've created a brand that really does resonate with people, and maybe I'm biased. I am biased, but the optimism and the joy that we bring through our brand, I think, is very unique for an automotive brand. And that idea that like it's for you to go and live your life and to enjoy things. The car is almost secondary to that. Is a very unique approach that I think has resonated with a lot of people.
Definitely different and interesting, and we've talked about how Rivian really isn't just saying that they're environmentally conscious. It's like everything you do is about that. So Rivian takes a really unique approach to out of home, which is what we're here to talk about. And your Halloween promotions are whimsical and involve Halloween costumes that the cars can wear via over-the-air software updates. So let's watch last year's creative, and then maybe you'll give us a little sneak peek for this year.
Coming soon.
It's good to be back.
If you didn't see the little tiny disclaimer at the bottom, car costume only active when vehicle is in park.
Yeah,
So
NHTSA doesn't like it if you make it dry.
yeah. So those were really well received, right?
I mean, we've sort of made it a goal to be the car company that owns Halloween. So, but I think it does showcase. We have what we call a software-defined vehicle. It is all built in-house, the tech stack, the software, everything. And this showcases how we can also use, obviously that makes for an incredible driving experience, but you can also use it to make just some really fun things like these car costumes. This year will be coming out shortly here in the next, call it, week or two. And so it should be just as much fun. But we basically took over the entire, instrument panel and turned one into KIT and one into the DeLorean, and just had a ton of fun with it. And then our owners, basically over the course of Halloween, you get an update over the air. You get a notification in your app like, "Hey, update." You push the button, and then you can turn your car into all of these things. We've talked about for future ones, how could you also make your car the greatest Halloween decoration in the world? You don't have to decorate for Halloween, you just have to turn your car on. So what are the cool ways we can start to do some of the, use them for some of those things? And it's just a really interesting way that then it becomes this sort of multiplying effect. Every car in the neighborhood can have these, one year we did pumpkins rolling, like a visual or light of pumpkins rolling out of the car when someone walked by, kind of thing. So you can start to create.
The puddle light, right?
Yeah,
the puddle light turned it into
to
okay,
pumpkins.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
we turned the puddle light
Fancy
into
cars
pumpkins.
have puddle lights, if you don't know that. So
So we just like to have fun with it, and then but stay tuned for this year's here coming up soon.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. So, as you said before, Rivian customers love adventure. I noticed when I was there earlier this week, there's actually a neon sign on the wall at your Plymouth facility that says, "Of all the paths you take in life, make sure a few are dirt,"
Yep.
which made me wear my T-shirt, which is kind of my off-road T-shirt with the tracks on it. So only responsibly off-roading, though, of course. So you recently launched the latest chapter of the Real Rivian Adventures, and it celebrates unscripted moments that your owners are sharing with you, like by the thousands. So let's watch the first spot, and then we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the family that actually wrote you about this, and then you made it into a spot. I don't want to say a commercial because it's not really a commercial, it's a video. So let's watch the other two.
This place is supposed to be great.
That's what you said last time.
It's not gonna be like last time, promise.
Guys?
I don't know.
I think I hear something. What was
I
that?
don't see anything.
I'm not allowed to pick the spot anymore.
I got to use a great headline on my story. Rivian saves owners from alligators, because that actually happened in real life,
It
which
sure
is
did.
crazy.
It sure did.
So, how do you pick the stories? How many have you gotten so far?
Oh man, it's so fun. So like I said, we have an incredibly involved owner community. So we have a very small but mighty team that works with them. We have 130 Rivian clubs in the United States. People are just super passionate about owning the vehicle. And so we reached out to all of those clubs and we were like, hey, we want to hear your very best stories to start. And we got, each of them, we must have gotten 1,000 different stories. And so we've just been sort of picking the fun ones, and based on, maybe we want to showcase different features, and, we'll have one coming out for holiday as well. And then we put these out, and then we've also sort of put a call. We have blog posts that actually walk through everybody's actual owner story as well. So you get to meet the family, hear about what they did, hear how maybe what creative license were taken and what wasn't, and then encourage people to contribute more. So I think we've got a Google Doc that has them all, and each story is only like this big in the doc, but the doc is probably like 30 pages at this point.
And you can actually show off the vehicle attributes in a real life way. Like if you have a Rivian, it will protect you from alligators,
Yep.
right?
And then if you go into our New York store, for instance, it's sort of it's our concept store. It's one of our flagships in the meatpacking. You can hear owner stories. There's like an exhibit where there's even more and different owner stories where you can put on headphones, hear the stories in their own voices, and we've created this sort of in-store exhibit and activation. We've got programming in our retail stores that teaches owners how to create really unique content so they can share it. We use this hashtag, the Real Rivian Adventures, to allow people to continue to share on social as well. So
through the video camera that they can take pictures of themselves, like in videos of themselves. So, and you did some stuff in your pop-ups with tying into the spots, like lemonade and ice
Served
cream.
lemonade, we had ice cream, but we were paired with local partners to do ice cream and everything else too, yeah.
And showed the spots in the car, or in the pop-ups and in the studios.
Yep, it's fun. And then here in the next couple weeks, we'll also be debuting, like I said, our holiday one, and then we have another piece debuting that actually is only made with owner footage. So it's very, very special.
Cool. Well, I don't have any other questions. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to mention, as far as out of home or
I mean, I
just-
think for us, out of home is, we have a very adverse reaction to traditional advertising, in that sort of like, hey, we don't want to be like interrupting your day, which goes against this almost the whole idea. But like, how can we actually be a part of your day and enhance it? And how can we create either in-store programming or content, or that's why we actually, one of the reasons we really like out of home is that it sort of becomes a part of your life. Like, how do we become ubiquitous without being distracting is a piece that we've talked a lot about, and the sort of needle we're trying to thread with our creative and our marketing strategy. So out of home plays a big part of that, because of our ability to go really local, to be clever, to make people smile, but not feel like we've sort of taken away from their moment.
Gotcha. Any questions from all you folks out there?
I have one, actually. So
Could you say who you are and where you're from,
Hi,
please?
everybody. I'm Kate Terhune with MediaPost. How you doing? Thanks, Tanya.
I can't see that that's you back there, so.
So, you have some stunningly beautiful creative. I'm curious, when you are thinking about leveraging AI, have you used any kind of technology to help you turn some of those beautiful creatives into other formats for other channels, or how do you think about that? How do you approach that?
It's very top of mind, especially with R2 and the ramp and the quantity of people that we need to speak with, and the amount of personalization we want to start to incorporate into our marketing strategies. So I think for us, we are really excited about that potential in terms of being able to deliver very personalized messages to people, in either on the channel where they want to see it, or how they want to hear that information. That for us represents the biggest piece for AI. And then also we've sort of been playing with creating almost like agents for our various like audience types, and then sort of testing into the agents in order to get really great feedback, but not necessarily having to worry about someone leaking something, or everything else that comes with a normal focus group.
Cool. I have a question here from the really sick new hat owner.
Hi, Denise. Joel Martin, Xperia House. And my question was, have you tracked to see how digital out of home has encouraged, which is the most important thing in new cars, right, test drives? Because I saw some of your out of home during South by. I went to your activation. It was great, amazing, going up the hills here in Austin. Have you measured to see if do you have like a QR code or a code? How are you correlating the two?
Yeah, we've used it a lot. To be honest with you, we haven't used it a lot to drive actual official demo drives. We typically have used it to drive people to the store, that then allow the sales people to get you over to that next hump, to be honest with you. Or to your point, we've also used it to drive people to a particular activation. Sometimes those have drives or not. But it's definitely something that we're interested in exploring, because, I mean, this is true of any vehicle, right? But to experience that vehicle is to, you drive one, you are more than likely going to probably purchase one, because it's such an enjoyable experience, and because, obviously you're very incredibly high intent. So for us, getting people into a vehicle to test drive it is like, especially for us in marketing, that's our end game.
All right, any final questions? Okay, Denise, Tanya, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.